Well, Bob, you know about me. I'm a movie buff. You know that about me by now, and I pay attention to like every preview because I just like movies so much. And there were two big movies that have opened recently. That their previews made them look huge, but the interesting thing, I've read a couple reviews, and I don't know. So far, critics have been brutal to both After Earth and Now You See Me. And obviously, from a family perspective, I'd be curious to hear what you think.
Well, let's start with Now You See Me and take it from a family perspective. Essentially, it's about four pretty good illusionists that, because they're pretty good, get invited to be part of a super duper illusionist group called the Eye. Pretty soon, they're involved in an illusionist type event, which looks like they're robbing a bank in Paris. And next thing you know, all the money's being distributed to those in the audience. And so it's kind of got this Robin Hood vibe going. But by the time now I will say, it is very much out of the box, very different than a lot of things we've seen. And I like that. So from a movie perspective, I like out of the box. But I'm not about out of the box. I'm pretty much about, is it a good date night movie? Could you take your teens to go see? You know, that type of thing from a family perspective. This one ended up getting just a 2 out of 5. That's a pretty low score. But interestingly enough, not because of such major content. Now, it does have content. There's a lot of language. There are two, at least, sensual scenes that are like, so that knocks it down for sure. But a lot of getting down this far was about its philosophy, its worldview, the whole Robin Hood, robbing from the rich to give to others. But there's also a big revenge, vigilante theme that runs through it too. So again, when the credits roll, I'm like, who am I rooting for? And why am I rooting for them? And what's the takeaway that the filmmaker wants me to have? And when I answer those questions, I come up and I say, this film is really lacking from a family perspective.
I have a coworker who has seen the movie After Earth, and she had a positive family take on it because of she said there's a message of reconciliation between the dad and the son. And I don't know, I think a lot of people are probably interested in this movie, maybe even taking their preteen or teen to it, because you've got a dad and a son literally acting together, in the movie, Will and Jaden Smith. But, man, those things can be bait and switches sometimes. What did you see?
I agree with your coworker. I thought this film had all the potential to take around a 12-year age child, especially a son, 13, 14, maybe even 15. I think by the time they get to 16, they'll probably start to agree with some of the critics. It really is about a father-son bonding, because his dad's a bit judgmental and harsh in many ways, very military at first, and about him coming to grips with watching his son for who his son is. And it's about his son growing up. It's a rite of passage in that way. So I like that. And if I had a young son again, I would take him, even despite what the critics say. I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is pretty positive. So I think it's potential.
What I hear you saying, though, the caveat to that 4 out of 5 is, though, that 4 out of 5 for kids, probably 12 on up.
Yeah. Because of the wildness of the beast, and there's some perilous moments where Will almost, gets it. Of course, he's going to survive to the end, but there's some times where you're white-knuckled wondering if he's going to make it. I think some younger kids, especially, would probably be pulling their hair out in those scenes. But for 12 on up, I think they'll be fine with it.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I got that feeling. Like, my son's 7. And I get the feeling Drew would be absolutely terrified by some of the monster scenes and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, just want to remind everybody, too, pluggedin.com for movie reviews, music, and more. Plugged In mobile apps, and always good stuff there. Always great to rely on as a mom or dad. So thanks, you guys. And